Hey, Algebra 2. So we're going to be going over evaluating functions, both on a graph and if you had just an equation itself, and that's what this other one is called, function machines and function notation. Okay, so make sure you have these notes. These ones that I have right here are the pink colored notes, so these go first, and then right after that you should have the yellow notes. So obviously they're not in color here, but in your notebook they should be in color. I left an example of my notebook out on my desk so the substitute can show you that, or you can just swing by my desk and check it out. But these are simple, just cut out notes and they fold, and the other ones, I believe these ones, you don't have to cut at all. Okay, so let's start. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to evaluate functions. When you evaluate something, that means you're going to start with an input. You're going to start with the input, and then you're going to end up looking for the output. Okay? Now, when something's written like this, like f of 3, okay, that's the input. And then let's say the 4 is written here. So that's the input. And the number that comes out after you plug it into the function, that's the output. Okay, so this time we're not given the actual function. You're just given the graph. So remember, the input is also the x value. Okay, so basically what we're looking for is the output, which is also the y value. So if I go to the graph and I look for where x is equal to 2, so go along the x-axis until you get to 2. Well, there's 2. I'm looking for the y value of this line right here, this kind of funky looking line, when x equals 2. Well, at x equals 2, I go up to the line, boom, there is that point at 2 and 3. So the y value is simply 3. Same thing here. If I'm at negative 2, I scan over to 2, go up to the graph, or if it's down here, you got to go down, and that's negative 2 and 2. So then the output there is 2. Okay, then for negative 5, I scan over to negative 5, go down to the graph this time because it's below the line, and now that point is negative 5, negative 1. So that output is negative 1. Now you try to find the output of 7 by yourself. Pause the video for a second, you look for it. Alright, you should have found it by now. You go over to 7, and the graph isn't above the line here, it's below the line down here, and it's at 7 and minus 3 for the output. Okay? So now in this next example, we don't give you the graph, you have to plot the graph. Okay? So first, let's graph our y-intercept. Oops, not up there. Down here at negative 3. And then the slope is 1 over 2, so we go up 1, right 2, up 1, right 2, up 1, right 2, up 1, right 2. And then we go down 1, left 2. Oops, sorry, I didn't go far enough there. Because we want to complete the graph here. Now go ahead and make a line just to make it complete. Even though it's not really super important for us to help us find the outputs. Okay, so now I just do the same thing. Here's the input at 2, and then I go down to negative 2, which is the output. And you finish the rest of these values. Pause the video and you find the rest. Okay, you should have taken a moment to find the rest. So if I go to negative 2, I go left 2, and the line is below the line, or below the axis, so I go down here, and it's negative 2 and negative 4. So that's negative 4 right there. That's what we're looking for. And then for negative 5, I go all the way over and down to the line. And that looks like it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, so that's 6. So negative 5, negative 6. Okay, and then at 7, we go all the way to 7. And now it's above the line. And now we've got a little bit of a problem here because if you look at it, there's no definitive point that's like right here at 1 or at 0. It's right in between in the middle. So if it's right in the middle, well then that must mean that it's a half. Okay, so this is 7, and we'll say 0.5. So 0.5. Oops, you can do all that. Alright. Okay, now I do the same thing here. I'll go up. Now I got to graph it again. Start at 6. And then I want you to finish the rest of these. So pause the video. Okay, and you graph it, and then you find the outputs. Okay, so after you've tried it on your own, so now you notice it's negative 1 over 3, so that means I'm going to go down 1, right 3, down 1, right 3, down 1, right 3, and go back up the other way. Put my line, put some arrows. Okay, so now at 3, go over to 3, go up, and 3, 5. And I don't really need to write these coordinates up here, I'm just kind of showing you where the y's come from. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and just write out the y's. So now for negative 6, go over to negative 6, and got to go up to the graph, and that's 8. Or is that 8? Actually, hang on. Negative 6. Oh, sorry, that's actually 7. Okay. And then negative 2, well, I got to go up to the graph again. Another case where it's like right there in the middle. So we're going to have to kind of assume maybe it's like 2.3. Okay, actually, you know what? I'm thinking the line's actually a little higher, so it's probably, if your line was actually more accurate than mine, use the ruler, it's probably more something like, oh, sorry, not 2.6, more like 6.6. Somewhere around there. Okay, and for 4, I go over to 4 and up, and again, it's not right on like an exact integer point, so we'll say that's about 4.6 as well. Or 0.6 as well, just like the last one. Okay? Alright, so that's it for those notes. Now what I want you guys to do is stop here, and I want you guys to do the IXL assignment for evaluating functions on a graph. Go to the IXL assignment sheet.